Ladies and gentlemen, what's going on? Welcome back to Force Strategy Gaming. I'm going to be doing another commentary for you today. Today's matchup is between ATN's DarKFoRcE and WhiteRa. We can see right here in the 6 o'clock position, we do have the yellow Zerg player, ATN's DarKFoRcE, and in the 9 o'clock, we do have the red Protoss, WhiteRa. So yeah, there we have it. Going to be a Protoss versus Zerg series. This is going to be a best of 3 between these two players, and we're going to be starting this out on Terminus RE or the Supply Depot map. There is the Supply Depot, and there is the Supply Depot. So yeah, loving this. Finally getting a commentary in for you guys with some Zerg action going on. Also, I mentioned in the last commentary series that I did post that there are going to be strategy videos. We're going to have a Protoss and Terran, and there should be a Zerg coming out shortly after that as well. So I'm going to try to keep up that and try to maintain that for you. And look at this, WhiteRa dropping the pylon bomb. It's not a real bomb, it's a pylon, but man, he is going for a quick expansion, sure as shit. I've said that before, and I've been confirmed that I can say that. Actually, it's funny. I wasn't confirmed. I obviously nothing happened. I don't swear all the time, sometimes every once in a while. But anyways, why am I going off on this tangent? Well, it's funny because someone left a comment in the video when I said it last, and they said, why do you think that you would get censored? Don't you watch these other videos where people swear all the time? I don't watch a lot of YouTube, believe it or not, with how busy I am between making videos and playing the game and everything else that I got going on, and then trying to live my life. You know, I go to the gym and I hang out with my girlfriend and I do groceries and I play with the cats. That's ridiculous. But I do lots of things besides this, so I don't actually watch a lot of videos, so I couldn't tell you what other people do in their videos. They could swear to the, I don't know, the 7 rivers of hell. What? Anyways, WhiteRa moving out right now with his probe. We're going to be scouting. DarKFoRcE is, of course, opening up with 1 base play. This is a little bit dangerous right now for WhiteRa. WhiteRa going for that fast expansion. Obviously, this is going to be a Forge fast expand. Here comes that Forge. Bam, there it is. Forge getting dropped. Now, this is a large wall to have to cover. We're going to need to see a gateway and a cyber core, and that is just barely going to fit it, if that. There, he might actually need another building there. I'm not sure. I think a gateway and a cyber core should do it, though. Just taking a look here, I believe that may actually do it, and then he's going to put the cannons in the back. But the problem is, DarKFoRcE opens up on 1 base play. We can see 4 Zerglings coming on through. I almost expect some more Zerglings. No, he's going to be droning, so actually not going to be doing any more Zerglings. I wouldn't have been surprised if he just pushed out with a lot of pressure. We have this 1 pylon coming down here as well. Obviously, DarKFoRcE is going to be fully aware of what's going on until that first Stalker comes out, liking that photon cannon placement. Going to force this Overlord to actually push back a little bit there. But yeah, we should be seeing that Cybernetics core as soon as it finishes. Now those Zerglings. Okay, let me hypothesize here as to why DarKFoRcE actually didn't pump out a ton more Zerglings. Because of the size of this map, I'm pretty sure he was under the impression that by the time he got there, that wall would have been finished as well as that cannon. And you know what? He's probably right. But at the same time, we have these destructible rocks. So WhiteRa actually has to pay attention to this back area as well, because even though the Zerglings will probably take umpteen million years to actually kill it, they do have to work these back rocks. Zergling's going to make it on in. They're taking a lot of damage, unfortunately, from that photon cannon, but now they are free to roam around. They're not going to actually be able to do too much damage, in all honesty. 2 Zerglings isn't that threatening. What is WhiteRa going to do to finish this wall off? He's got 2 Zerglings chilling out in his base. Hopefully he does something with this. There we go. So wall off, going to finish with that cyber core. And I'm guessing another cannon is going to go like maybe right here or something. The reason I say that is because he does need to pay attention. These back rocks are here. They may get destroyed, and then DarKFoRcE may have a free reign right into the base here. So he needs to pay attention to that. Now again, all these Zerglings can't do a lot of damage right now. They can stay in here and scout forever, basically, until that Stalker comes out, basically. These Zerglings are going to be free to move around, as long as he doesn't get caught off guard, obviously, by those probes. So yeah, this is going to be some nice scouting, although in all honesty, he's not getting too much more than he already knows. He knows there's a Forge Fast expand, so he knows right now WhiteRa is just going to be probing up, and that's basically it. Let's take a look over here for what DarKFoRcE is doing. He does have that expo up, working on up to that layer right now, trying to get some higher tech. Second extractor coming in as well. He does, of course, have that metabolic boost out already. Finally dropping that creep tumor to get some creep spread going on. No, that's not a cannon yet, so I'm not going to be getting that second cannon yet. Again, these destructible rocks with just Zerglings would take a while to break through, so I guess he's not too concerned about it. As you can see, Zerglings still not doing a lot of damage, but just being annoying. But there's the Stalker, so these Zerglings are going to be taken care of very quickly here. There's 1 kill and the 2nd kill right there. So Stalker does manage to take care of those last 2 Zerglings before they headed back into the main. But as you can see, even with that long scouting period inside of the base of WhiteRa, he saw nothing but probing up, because that's all WhiteRa would be doing at this point. He's just going to be massing up probes, trying to get a nice saturation at both bases, because that's the point of fast expanding. So let's hypothesize here. Let's take a look at what's happened so far. Well, WhiteRa got up that expo. Didn't take a lot of losses. Actually, let's take a look at the losses. DarKFoRcE has killed 3 workers, but that's it. He's got up the expo much sooner than DarKFoRcE himself did, and that's really, really good. DarKFoRcE is going to actually want to push out to a third because of the fact that WhiteRa is on 2 bases right now. He's actually in a really solid position. Looks like we're going to be seeing some dropping action here, though, from DarKFoRcE. DarKFoRcE does have both the upgrades coming out for his Overlords. It's going to increase their speed as well as allow them to drop. So interested to see what he plans on dropping. Looks like it's going to be Zergling. So we're going to be seeing a Zergling drop here from DarKFoRcE as a response to this Forge Fast expand. So he's, in fact, not going to be going for an Expo right now, and he's going to be just trying to do a lot of damage. There's that Baneling's Nest. So going to be seeing some Doom dropping with those Banelings as well. That can be incredibly effective. What is WhiteRa doing? Looks like, I'm guessing, a 6th gate. Yes, it is a 6th gate. There are the other 5. Here is number 6, and there is that level 1 upgrade. 6 gate push with the Forge Fast expand with the level 1 upgrade. That is a very effective, pretty popular tactic as well. WhiteRa actually only ended up having to get that 1 photon cannon, and wow, look at this. WhiteRa opening up another avenue to his base. He himself is actually destroying these rocks. Once he gets those 6 gateways in, he's going to be churning out units, and now this is a very important time basically for DarKFoRcE. DarKFoRcE needs to push in before there are too many waves of units that actually get warped in through these 6 gateways. You can see the 6 gateways just finished right now. WhiteRa starting to pull up those resources. He's going to start basically warping in a ton of guys. We can see DarKFoRcE coming out with these banelings right now, and this is, again, a very tense moment. DarKFoRcE has not expanded. He is sticking to 2 bases. He's looking to do tremendous amounts of damage right now. If he does not really, really hurt WhiteRa right now, then he's going to be in a very bad position. But we do have a lot of Banelings coming in, and here are those Overlords basically picking up those Zerglings, going to drop them in the main base. We don't want those Banelings to come in there as well. We do have a lot of units, but unfortunately very out of position here. WhiteRa himself is trying to push out with this 6K push, and here we go. Zerglings right in the main, and this is going to be a lot of damage. We do have these probes trying to move on down straight to mineral line. They, in fact, are going to be able to get down there. Zerglings trying to take care of them from the rear, but this is a problem right now. Here come the Banelings, and WhiteRa going to be losing a lot of his production abilities. He is forced to push back with what army he has. He needs to protect these gateways because if he loses these, he's not going to be able to produce anymore, obviously. Zergling's going to be taking down that first Nexus. This is not looking good for WhiteRa. We do have a few more Zerglings here right in the middle, getting ready to get picked up. Zergling's moving down to get around. Here comes those Baneling drops. Baneling drops, Baneling drops. There we go. Banelings moving straight on down into the face there of those Stalkers. That's not their best target, but still lots of damage, as you can see. And even though he didn't actually take out a ton of production buildings, he did a lot of damage. Look at that. 5 workers killed, 14 total units, but he dropped that Nexus as well. WhiteRa is now back to 1 mining base. He is trying to come up with the second one as well. Now, keep in mind as well, WhiteRa did open up this huge wall here that was basically the huge tropical rocks that was blocking and protecting his third. So now DarKFoRcE has another way to enter. That's very, very scary indeed. DarKFoRcE, what is he doing? He's coming down with a third right now. Deciding to pull on back. He's done his damage. He's pretty happy. There was another Zergling drop there doing a little bit of damage as well. But at this point, yeah, he didn't do enough damage. In all honesty, I don't really think that he did enough damage, and that's a problem. Dropping that Nexus is huge, but we can see WhiteRa does have this up. Now, WhiteRa, he just needs to be very, very careful about this right here. As you can see already, Zerglings just kind of getting ready to stream their way on in. Having these sentries is going to help a little bit. Needs some force fields. There are a lot of Zerglings there, though. Nice force field placement. Lining those up, those Zealots, and was able to do a little bit of damage. These Zerglings are so frustrating, though, especially with 3 bases so wide open like we have here. The Zerglings just able to run around and do basically whatever they want for the most part. You're going to be moving right here in the main, trying to get a couple free kills, but needs to be careful. Stalker is going to take them down, and actually the Zergling attack has been taken care of. WhiteRa just needs to chase him down and be able to take care of them, splitting up those Stalkers to try to catch them from both angles. These Zerglings, see you later, buddy. Going to pull on back, and here are the other Stalkers getting ready to meet them. There you go. So Zerglings are gone. So I'm a little concerned right now, in all honesty, for DarKFoRcE because he did some damage, yes, and he took out the Nexus. He didn't kill a lot of workers, only 6. He killed a couple units, okay. But look at WhiteRa killing 90 units. Holy crap, that's a lot of Zerglings and Banelings that he did manage to take care of. So yeah, WhiteRa, good job in defending, in all honesty. That was pretty solid play. DarKFoRcE just now getting up his third right now. Going to want to try to work to saturate that. Let's take a look at the worker count. WhiteRa sitting in a dominant lead right now, 60 workers as opposed to just the 40 of DarKFoRcE. You might wonder, Zerg players, they macro pretty hard. Why is DarKFoRcE so low? Well, it's because he basically spent so many resources in that attack. He was really hoping to take WhiteRa out right there. But unfortunately, like we saw, he didn't. He took out the Nexus, but no production buildings and not a lot of workers either. So there you have it. DarKFoRcE going to be teching up. We do have that speed upgrade coming out for those roaches. Hydralisk Den making its way on through as well. Expect that range upgrade to come as soon as that goes ahead and pops up. Would like to see, how many queens does he have right now? We'd like to see a couple more queens, just the 2. I want to see another queen here for over here. There we go. Queen just popped up. So there is numeral trace. All right, back inside of WhiteRa's base. WhiteRa now sitting on the 3 bases. His main finally back up and running. Still with just these 6 gateways, or does he have more? Oh no, he's got plenty more. He does have the Stargate over here. He's got a Void Ray over here. A Void Ray over here as well. He's got that Robo out. He's coming out with that Bay as well. So WhiteRa is getting ready to pump out some massive amounts of units. He doesn't have a ton right now, just on 53 supply. 14 minutes in the game. Obviously, you could be much further along than that, but there's been some big engagement, so that's understandable. 1 Void Ray moving into the 3rd, doing a little bit of damage and pushing back on out. Now we do a couple Hydras, which is going to help deal with those Void Rays a bit. Observer moving on through as well. 1 Void Ray sitting over here. Let's see if he does manage to do any more harassment with that. Not quite sure. So, yeah, a little bit concerned, like I mentioned earlier, for DarKFoRcE. I think, again, he just didn't do enough damage, and he took a very heavy econ loss, and, again, didn't even hurt WhiteRa's econ at all. Taking one more look there, 68 workers now, so WhiteRa moving up close to full saturation at these 3 bases. He's got all 3 up and running. Nice mining. None of them are really too mined out at all, so it's nice even distribution between all 3. Here comes that Thermal Lance, and I'm going to be expecting some Colossus soon after as well. This Void Ray already sitting at 5 kills. Going to get some free Creep Tumor kills over here as well with this Observer. There's 1, there's 2, and here comes a 3rd right now. But here come the Hydras. Needs to push back right now. Uh-oh, gonna get dropped, and actually this Observer gonna get taken care of as well because of that Overseer. So there you go. Does the Observer make it? No, he doesn't. Hydras do so much damage. It's absolutely unreal. 1 Zergling spotting the possible 4th here. Of course, DarKFoRcE does want to know if WhiteRa moves out to that. So here's another thing to consider. As a Zerg player, you need to be, to really be in a strong position, you need to be 1 base ahead of a Protoss or Terran opponent. And as we can see right now, DarKFoRcE just on 3 bases. WhiteRa just on 3 bases. Who are we going to give the advantage in this situation? It is going to go to WhiteRa. He is definitely, again, in a solid position right now. We're going to see some roach dropping action going on. There are 4 roaches there, 4 roaches there, another 4 roaches there. So going to be seeing a little bit of harassment, maybe trying to drop in multiple places at once. But no! Void Ray catching the Overlord, so this one's taken care of. I don't think these guys are going to do any damage. Going to try to drop them and do what they can, but here's a pretty big army over there to deal with that as well. And here we go, WhiteRa moving into a fort. So WhiteRa sitting in a very nice spot. Let's take a look at that army tab, 68 to 70. So DarKFoRcE just barely ahead, but definitely not enough to overwhelm, especially given the fact that we've got a Colossus on the board here and a decent mix of those gateway ground units. Some more Stalkers coming into play as well. What do we got for upgrades for WhiteRa? Just at that level 1 upgrade. Got level 2 upgrade coming on in. A couple cannons moving here to defend this 4th Expo. Finally, DarKFoRcE moving out to his 4th as well. But again, he's just on par. He's not above his Protoss opponent, and that is not good. It's going to be very hard to actually contend with that force. But here's a drop. Roach is moving in the background, trying to do some damage. WhiteRa being able to respond to that very quickly, though. Got 3 Zealots morphing in, as well as those 3 Stalkers. Should be able to take care of those roaches very quickly. Now, the one thing I will have to say here is DarKFoRcE definitely way on top of those upgrades. Got the level 2 armor, as well as that missile attack coming in for his roaches and hydras. Lots of overlords hanging out over here. What else do we got going on? No layer at this point. I'm sorry, no hive at this point. He does have that layer up. Saturation looking pretty good at all 3 bases. WhiteRa finally getting up that 4th right now. Going to move the saturate, but look at that burrowed roaches. No observers over here. That is very funny. We have 2 photon cannons coming in. I did not even realize that. That's absolutely hilarious. So going to move down, do a little bit more harassment, and then actually go ahead and burrow again. As soon as that observer comes over here, though, this thing is a sayonara sucker. You're going to do a lot of damage. Though. Look at those roaches just tearing through those gateway units. Where's that burrow? There we go. Burrow goes down, and no observer. I don't see any observer over here, so unfortunately for him, yeah, gonna just have to deal with those for now. Lots of roaches and hydras sitting here in the middle. Gonna see some more roach dropping. This is a pretty interesting play from DarKFoRcE. I don't see roach dropping with burrow roaches that often. It happens every now and then, but it is not something you see on the regular. Both players right now at supply cap. A little bit more army advantage going to DarKFoRcE, but obviously WhiteRa has a much stronger army with those Colossus in play. Obviously DarKFoRcE doesn't want to push on this. Lots of cannons, and there's a big army right there, but here it comes anyways, and this is not a good situation with those cannons there as well. I'm a little bit concerned. Those Colossus are doing so much damage, but there are those burrowed units trying to help as well, but no, never mind. With this observer here, those burrowed units don't make much of a difference. In fact, they just take damage while burrowed because of course, they're spotted. So that is not good for DarKFoRcE. He just lost pretty much everything without doing any damage, and there is the GG from DarKFoRcE. game number 1 going to WhiteRa, and we saw in this game very interesting play, that Forge Fast expand from WhiteRa, and as a response, of course, we did see DarKFoRcE. He just stayed on those 2 bases. He went for that Zergling baneling drop. He did a little bit of damage, took out the Nexus, but he didn't manage to take out enough workers, didn't really hurt that econ of WhiteRa at all, so he was able to get that Nexus back up very quickly over here, and then in fact got his 3rd back at his main there, and was pretty much all set from that point, just basically working up on this Protoss Death Ball, lots of Colossus, couple of Void Rays in there as well, and then those Stalkers, Gateways, and Sentries, and that Roach Hydra pushing on this Expo with those cannons plus all those units right there. I think that was a little bit of a mistake. He definitely did not have the unit composition to actually deal with that properly, especially with these Colossus and these Void Rays in play. He probably wanted a couple Corruptors before he moved into that engagement, but there you go. That was game number 1 in this best of 3 series between these 2 players, so we're going to be moving on to game number 2 in just one moment. As always, guys, if you like the content, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Keep watching and keep owning.